then it gives me pause to think about whether or not I need to repeat that piece. Yeah.
But we're taught, or we're taught like very early on, to claim lessons as, okay, I'm claiming this as I've learned that I don't need to repeat this, and that's something we kind of forget to do. And what that is doing, that's not because we're telling the universe, don't send it to me again. The universe doesn't arbitrarily send us anything. What we're doing is we're grounding that to Mother Earth. We're grounding that energy of, okay, I know this, I've done this, I've been here, done that, got the t-shirt, I don't need to go through this again. Now, granted, we will circle back to our wounds because we will come to them at a different level, but we will understand them faster and better and etc. every time. And so that grounded energy, we will come back to that, and we will know quicker, we will understand quicker. But I don't think we can. It's kind of like tarot. Some tarot readings, only one part of it is for you. Some of it, the whole reading is for you, and that can talk about that. It's yeah.
Well, the way I do my cards in the morning, um, I use my cards as a learning process,
Right.
and not so much, I don't know, not like a reflection of my day or whatever. I get the Earth Dragon a lot, but I don't open up the big book and actually look at the meditation. I read the little pamphlet and I get the reminders in there. Like,
Yes.
you can ask the Earth Dragon to clear your ground, and or clear a property, or clear a ley line, and also it is a grounding dragon. So it might be a reminder to me as, don't forget to ground, do your grounding, and that kind of stuff. So I use my cards a lot like that, and just to learn them. I like to learn cards. So um, I don't necessarily, I know we draw them for meditations a lot, but mine, when I draw, they're just learn something, to learn basically the deck of cards. I get a new deck of cards so I can um, see what card I get and look it up and see what it means and what ideas I get out of it and that kind of thing. So I kind of use it that way too, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
That makes
And
sense.
yeah, and it's the same way with tarot. When you're listening, when you draw a card, or if you're listening to tarot or whatever, what about that applies to you at that time, and what about it doesn't, and what can you take with you for another time? And it's also about being it's like throat chakra stuff. It's about being able to be out in the world and know when something is for you and when it's not, when it's time for you to speak up and when it's not, when it's time for when and for you to recognize in yourself, when am I being real and when I'm not. So it's about us being able to recognize, I feel like, quickly, on the fly, in real time, because the world doesn't stop spinning for us, and confidently what our truth is and what authenticity is, and holding that frequency and trusting ourselves with it. It's about trusting ourselves.
Mhm.
The big drawing I got today, I'm not going to go through every bit of it, but the big drawing I got today was basically, it started with what my story started with this past few years of this spiritual journey. And it ended with how I will, or am, bringing everything into where my life is supposed to be. And it ended with what my truth is. Now, of course, the card for that was Archangel Metatron. It ended with standing in my truth. And so that's what the whole reading was about today, was this has happened and that has happened, and you've accomplished this, and you got to do this still, and you got to do that still. I mean, I could go through the reading and I'm like, oh yeah, I see that. And then it was like, and the way you're doing all of this, and the way you have done it all, and the way you'll keep doing it all, and the way it'll get easier and easier is truth. And there it was, truth. It's not being afraid to be who and what we are at all times, and knowing who and what we are. So that's really what we're being called into, is because we talk to one another about our truths all the time. We are really comfortable together about being in our truth. But and for the most part, we're comfortable about out in the real world being in our truth. So I don't think it's necessarily that we're not good at it, but other people hear what we're saying, and that's not the part they're not getting that part yet. So that's the part we needed to be consciously aware of to articulate to them. Is like when my friend asked me, so how do I manifest truth? Well, you've got to be truth. I'm quite sure that we all knew that. Annette and I've been questioning why we keep getting, well, there's nothing for us to do. We don't need to do that. We don't need to do that, you know, and so in our own way, we have known. So it's not like we haven't known. It's not like we haven't been saying, we don't need to do that. We're doing that. You know, we're ready to receive. We've been doing that. But until somebody challenged me on it and said, and point blank asked me, and I had to articulate it for them, I hadn't refined it to that. And because of what we do and the point in time we're at, we have to be able to refine it to that, because that is the message that we're putting out or living. At the very least, we're living it. And for the most part, that's the messages that we're putting out. So that is, I think we're going to be seeing more and more of that. We're going to be seeing more and more of, okay, this is what truth is, and we're standing in it. And because we're standing in it, that's the change. And just come to your truth. Just keep coming to your truth. Keep refining and coming to your truth. And know you're not pulling me out of your truth while we do that. Because people will be coming up through this process. They're not going to do it as deep as the ones we previously had. So they're not going to have these conversations like we've had in the past about the dark night of the soul, and you know, because they're Taurus, they're in Taurus energy. They're not going to do that. But the ones who do, the ones who do talk about it or whatever, we don't let them pull us out of our frequency. They come to our frequency. We're bringing them to ours. And if they're not ready for it, then we, small doses of them, you know, we regulate who we're spending our time with and what we're letting into our energetic field, so we don't get pulled out of our frequency. We manage our time, our energetic field, our energy management in a way that we stay strong and in frequency, so that we're not draining ourselves and falling out of frequency ourselves. We keep a balanced life while we're doing this. And we understand more and more all the time that we are deserving of receiving. You know, we stay in that receiving mode. We have done the work. So it really is also about, this is a time when we are putting everything together. So it really is a time of, let's just receive. You know, we've done the work. We've done the work. I mean, we talked about this in the cosmic sense, that we're in that time of, okay, we've done the work. We're putting it all together now. We're fine tuning it. Let's do it. This goes totally in line with that. Okay, let's do it. Let's receive now. And so that's the energy we're in. And I think we're seeing it. We're seeing it with oracle cards. That's what they're telling us. You've done the work. Hold that frequency. Get what's yours, and be that truth for everyone else. And they're coming up to it. So
makes me think too, Misha, about like the certification program and stuff like that. And it's funny because I'm going to work on that as soon as we're done again. But and not just certification, but this is that's the strengthening and the healing that we need to do in order to make conscious choices. Right, so that's the piece that I'm going to beef up a lot, and I keep getting this visual of not a pie necessarily, because that's just feels so 1980s, but just, you know, that we have so many pieces of us that, you know, some we're prepared to ignore.
Puzzle. And that's doing puzzle, and that's painting puzzles for the book we're doing. Puzzles. It's puzzles. There you go. What we're doing.
Right. So, and is that what it is? Because it, like what I'm describing. So, you know, there are pieces, different pieces of us that all fit together to be the whole. And sometimes we lose a piece, and sometimes we forget a piece, or we don't want that. That piece is kind of icky. I don't want that one to be in there. Yeah. But, you know, that's the visual that I'm getting is
that's what we're doing. Pieces. That is exactly what Annette is doing for us for the books is puzzles. That's exactly what Annette's doing.
Cool.
exactly what I'm doing with everything I'm doing. You and I haven't had a chance to talk about it, but it is really, it's refining down more and more all the time to where it really always does, it all fits and flows together so well. And it's simpler and simpler all the time. It's like, oh
Nice.
yeah, okay, okay. I worked on the Twin Flame book on Saturday and got tons of stuff done, and it's really refined down now to, oh, okay, okay, okay. So, I mean, yeah, but you're absolutely right. It is about having what we're putting out in the world refined down and at the point where people can ingest it and digest it and simply get what they need from it. But we are fragmented. That is what the people coming to us are feeling, is the fragmentation. And this is about putting everything back together. As a matter of fact, everything I'm doing now, and this is what Annette's working on, is about when we were in order in the beginning, how we became chaos and what chaos looks like, societal programming, da 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 da, and then back to order. And that's the meditation, the finding your authentic self, the all the things, true self-care, and what order looks like. And that's all the pieces coming back together, but they're different pieces. They're not, it is divine feminine, divine masculine in balance, but it's also how we got there. So that's the 3 paintings she's working on now. Is the puzzle. It's order, and then it's chaos, it's societal programming, it's dense energy, and then it's blown apart, and then it's coming back together with meditation and true self-care and all the things that has brought us back to where it's better than ever, because we're expanding consciousness. We're not just order, but it's order that's expanded. Mm-hmm. And so it's better than ever. Right. So that is what awesome. Yeah, so that's what we're working on. So yeah, so you nailed it. So maybe you get Annette to do a puzzle for you. She's getting pretty good at it. She got a template made and everything.
That's pretty cool.
Well, and then, and I love the creative process, and of course mine's kind of different than, well, the process is probably the same, but mine's more visual, more art, and y'all are just smart and writers and that kind of stuff. But when she and I talk, or even if we might meditate, and then this image comes to mind. So when she was like, we went from order to chaos, and I was just seeing these puzzle pieces that come together. That was order, and then of course,
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And when she said that, I'm like, that's it. That is it. And I mean, it all just started. And then she said something else too. I cannot remember the sentence she said, but when she said it, I looked at her and I said, that's it. I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. It all just fell into place when she said it. And I'm like, and that's why you're in my life. Now, yeah, she made some comment, and when she made it, I'm just like, that explains it all. Yeah. And it all just fit into place. But yeah, and I think it was really about that. I know what it was, because we were doing, in the beginning, it was order, and then it was chaos, and then it was back to order. We were doing that, and Annette's she was trying to put it all on one painting, and she goes, because I was like, we've got more than one book here. There's no way I can do this in one book. It's going to be too long. And Annette was going, I think I've got 3 paintings here. And she goes, I think it's order, chaos, and then order again. And I'm like,
there it is.
There it is. Duh. And see, you just called us the smart ones. No, I mean, how long had I wrestled with that? And you're like, I've got 3 paintings here.
You get all that on one painting? That's 3 different paintings.
Yeah, she's like, that's 3 different paintings. She said, there's order, and then there's chaos. And then she goes, then I got to put it back together to have order. And I'm like, son of a bitch.
Oh, well, that's cool that it's all coming together.
It is, yeah, it makes perfect sense. So, okay. So for our meditation then this morning, I think we need to do some grounding, clearing, of course, call in our light, do the basic stuff. But I think what we need to do is we need to affirm that we have done the work. We know there's always going to be work to do, and we are riding a planet that never stops turning. But that's okay. That we are ready to receive because we have done the work and we are holding our frequency, and we are ready to receive, even while changing vibrational frequencies, even while changing levels of consciousness, even while living in real time. We are still ready to receive, because if we have to course correct, we do it frequently, and quickly. And there are no blockages here for us to receiving. We know what we want. We know who we are. We are being, and we are in our authenticity, and we are ready to receive. So for the work we have done, we're ready to receive. Yeah. So
I'm ready to receive. Absolutely.
I'm ready to receive.
Getting this card again this morning, the Star Centers, was really interesting, because you know how I like it. Just when I read it the other day, it was like, whoa.
Yeah, read the card again. Let me see if we can figure out why you got it again. See what the message is here.
Seated across your now and future Earth are planetary hubs of elevated consciousness, where like-minded communities and starseed initiates will meet to foster human evolution. Known as star centers, these have begun to sprout and will continue, with their intention to seed a network of activation points throughout the lands of Gaia. These star centers are extremely important, for they begin to chip away at our outdated systems such as borders, court systems, false education, and expand the hue, which I now learned is the humans.
Hold on. Do you realize what you're reading? Listen to what you're reading. Annette, tell her what she's reading.
What are you saying?
You're reading what I just said.
Exactly.
You said it. The very first part you said is, the ones who are already there, and then the ones coming in that you're reading exactly what I just said we're doing. Yeah.
Right. So what it goes on to talk about is the need to create that space, which, and I don't, you and I talked about this the other day. And I use the word retreat loosely, because I don't want to do that, but it's kind of like what it's saying to me is to find that kind of space to be stronger, to be able to do this. So it's not like that. Not like I have to do anything there, as much as just be in that space myself and grow from there.
I think that is the other thing for us too, is how much of this is what we're supposed to do out in the world, and how much of it is the energy we're supposed to be in ourselves, so we can have just beautiful lives out in the world. How much of this is our life and what we do, and how much of it is just what we are supposed to understand and the energy we're supposed to be in, so we can just in our energy raise the vibrational frequency, so we can have the other stuff.
Yeah.
I want room in my life. I want room in my life for the other parts of my life. I want room for that.
And that's what that feels like. Yes, absolutely. Right. That's exactly what that feels like to me. Is it's not a bigger picture thing. It's a me thing.
Yeah.
Because you're right. I mean, it all connects anyway, because as you said, like the more connected and aligned we are, and the more we can give. Yeah.
I think what Annette and I have that we're doing. I think the time I spend. I think the time that I'm doing in this world right now, it doesn't need to get bigger. It doesn't need to, I think I need to work on. I've even gotten to where they try to give me stuff, and I'm like, no. Do I need that for what I'm doing? Do I need that? Do I need that? Or can that wait? Can that wait until I've done this? Because don't blow my mind with that right now. Do I need that? And if I need it, fine. But if I don't need it, let's hold off on that. Because I want the whole life that I came here to have. This has been essential, and I don't want to walk away from who I am. This is who I am. There's no doubt. I know who I am. I know who you are, and I know who you are. And there is no doubt we are literally those beings. That is literally who we are. I know that with every part of me. I know it. But those beings are those beings all the way up. Okay? And the tactile part of us is meant to have other experiences too. We're meant to have other stuff in our life. You're meant to have those grandbabies, and you're meant to do whatever. And it's meant to paint and enjoy and and its pain is down, and so she's meant to enjoy the fact my pain is down. She's meant to enjoy that, you know. So yeah, she's got a whole new world to get out there and start discovering now that her pain is down. She's got a whole new way to start thinking about things. Hold on a second, my pain is down, you know. She's got that to wake up to. My pain is down. So we've got other things besides this, and we are not empire builders. We're not people who, oh my God, I've got to make $1 million off of this. This is my life. My life is something else too. And so that's the other part of this, is the balance of it. Yeah.
Well, and you know what? Yes, you're right. It's a complete balance. But what I have come to the last week or so is, you know, in terms of receiving, I want to receive the ability to do this,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that means that, and I think I popped that card away already, but that card that I showed you for the star centers,
Mm-hmm.
it's all trees, right?
I
It's all
know.
trees. So, I mean, it couldn't fit any better for
Oh,
me.
it's you. It was you.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm asking for that to be able to do more of what I do and to be who I am. So yeah, I'm asking for a friggin' house with trees. That's what I'm doing.
Well, that's, yeah, I know that, just that, and